Hudsonville.
Hudsonville, Michigan. Is that a big town? Is it kind of bigger than this town, or not sure?
Not quite sure.
Not quite, but all the way from Hudsonville, you joined me last year on Christmas Sunday, and I had so much fun doing a message with you that I wanted to invite you back again. And you have told me that when you get older, you want to be what?
A minister.
A minister. So Eric and I think this is going to become an annual thing, and where we do a message together, and we kind of just do this message. You are how old?
8.
8 years old, which puts you in what grade?
Second.
Second grade, wow. And you told me that if you do really good today, what happens today?
I'm going to get a book.
You're going to get a book? What kind of book are you going to get?
I survived.
I survived. And do you know what that's about? I survived.
4 books in one. It has Titanic, Shark Attacks of 1916, Hurricane Katrina, and bombing of Pearl Harbor.
Oh my! So that's amazing. What do you want to read most in that, between the sharks and the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the Titanic? Which one of those, or do you know much about any of those? Which one?
I'd start reading the Titanic.
Because that's really is so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, even though I've never read it.
Yeah, but that's good. That's why you read books, so you can learn. So Christmas is coming up soon. Yeah. And do you make like a list, Christmas list of things that you want, or how does that work for you?
I already made my list.
Oh, like how long ago did you make your list?
I'd say about a month ago.
A month ago, okay.
About.
Can you tell me what's first on your list? What do you want the most on your list?
Boxcar children books.
Boxcar children books, okay. What's that about?
It's about these 4 kids, and after their parents died, they ran away and lived in an abandoned boxcar until their grandfather found them.
Sounds like you pretty well already know the whole book, huh? Well, that sounds really,
and
really good.
And it's a series of mysteries.
Oh, wow. That's first on your list. Well, that's very good, because reading is so important, and I'm happy that you're learning to read so well. It's so important.
I'm reading above grade level.
You are. So, and you're in second grade. What do you think you're reading? Like what grade? Like above, or you just know you're reading above, like maybe at a third grade level?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're very, very proud of you. We are going to teach out of a scripture in the Bible as ministers today. And there's really one main point that I want to make, and we're going to make together at the end, okay? But first, we have to take a drink of water. So this is, by the way, is the pastor's cup that I gave Eric last year, and he brought it back, so we're going to do this. Isn't that really great? That's Ithaca water. You probably don't have it like that in Hudsonville, but this is super good here in Ithaca. So here we go. You ready to go?
Yep.
So just touch the screen, and we're off and rolling. Would you like to read that whole paragraph there?
In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world.
Great job. Now, by the way, last week we talked in depth about Caesar Augustus. So if you missed that, you can find us on YouTube. Just search our church and you can find the messages there. The message is called Upside Down Hero, and we talked about Caesar Augustus then. Now, this decree and this census has to do with none other than taxes. because the Romans had a way of just taxing like crazy. And especially the Jewish people, they overtaxed them terribly. And so this was a way that Caesar Augustus wanted to bring in more money for the Roman government. And he has everyone in the Roman world come back to their hometown and register so that he can get their name in a census and further tax them. So this is why Mary and Joseph end up going back to his hometown, because it had to do with taxes, all right? So go ahead and hit that. And you want to read that for us?
This was the first census that took place while
that is so hard.
Quirinus was governor of Sierra, and everyone went to their own town to register.
Good, okay. Go ahead and hit the next one.
So Joseph went also up from the town of Nazareth to Galilee in Judah, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David.
Very nice. Go on.
He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child.
Okay. Now, do you know what expecting a child means?
It means planning a child.
Right. Yeah, they're going to have a baby. Yeah. Do you happen to know who that baby was going to be?
Jesus.
Jesus. Yeah. Good. Good. That's so important for a minister to know. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Okay. There's certain things that you need to know. So that's a good one. Okay. Go ahead and hit the next one. You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you, Eric.
While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son.
A son. Okay, you want to go on? Keep going.
She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there is no guest room available for them.
Okay, so we have over here, can you see the pretend Jesus, and he's wrapped up, and that isn't cloths, but that's a nice little blanket. So they wrapped him up. Now, why do you think I have those words in bigger letters? You have any idea why I've done this on this slide?
Because they're more important?
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. And that's what I want to really emphasize in this part of the message. So that's why I've done that. But just in case someone's really not with us, go ahead and hit this again, and we'll try to get their attention. That wasn't really loud. We're going to try one more time. We'll try to get their attention. So Denny, could you help us? Okay, hit that again. We'll try to get their attention. See, that's you can do all sorts of things. You could cough. You could I don't know, but we're just trying to get their attention. And if there's someone that really you're not getting their attention, hit it one more time. Woo! We got him, didn't we? Every single one is watching out. Isn't that great? Isn't being a minister fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we about blew out the speakers and everything.
Yeah.
That was so fun, isn't it? Isn't that great? So we've got their attention. Okay. Now, did you read? Yeah, you read that. So here's where I want to start, where I have circled there. Yeah. Okay. No guest room. Do you have in your house, how many bedrooms do you have, like, in your house?
4.
4. And you have parents, and then you've got 2 other. Is there any extra room?
Nope.
No. So you don't have. That's called a guest room. You don't have any extra room in your house. And when Jesus was born, just at that time, there wasn't anybody that had an extra room. There just was no place for him to be born. Are you a good planner? Do you know what planning means?
Yeah.
Tell me, like, let's say that you were going to make, what's your favorite dessert?
Chocolate ice cream with M&Ms on top.
Oh, my goodness. Plain or peanut?
Plain.
Plain. All right. All right. Well, let's say that you were going to make chocolate ice cream with plain M&Ms on top, and you were going to plan this out. Okay, what kind of things would you do to plan to make chocolate ice cream with plain M&Ms on top?
First, I would crush up some ice.
Okay.
And then add chocolate syrup in it.
All right.
And then I would add a little bit more ice.
Okay.
Crush that up and mix it all together.
Wow, okay.
And then freeze it.
Mm.
And then let it thaw out.
Okay.
And then take a scoop and put M&Ms on top.
Plain M&Ms, right? Yeah. That is so good. Let's give Eric a hand. This guy knows what he's doing, huh? Now, you know, God is a very good planner, too. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he created the earth. He plans everything. And I in no way think that this whole not having a guest room was because God didn't plan that right. I think that God planned that there would be no place for Jesus to be born in, like a nice room in somebody's house, like your house. It was actually part of the plan. Sometimes we think, oh, those people must have been so mean because they didn't have a guest room. Well, I think it was part of the plan. Interesting plan, isn't it? That Jesus is born and there's no real place like for him to be born in, like a nice guest room that's really clean. All right, hit that and let's go to the next point, which is he was born and they placed him in a manger. Do you know what a manger is?
Yeah.
What?
It's like a feeding thing where animals feed.
Yes, so good. In fact, let's just hit the next one because, go ahead and hit it, because here is actually the definition from Webster's dictionary. Have you ever seen a real dictionary before?
No.
No, okay. Well, of course you can look it up online, and that's what I did. So can you read what the definition of a manger is? It's right there in below, in the smaller.
A tough or open.
Oh, you know, that's a really difficult word. Let's look at it. How's the first two letters sound? The first three. Now, the GH, this is tricky. Sometimes it's silent, which means you don't say it, and sometimes it sounds like an F. I know that's really weird, but this one sounds like an F. So how would you say it? Sound it out and put an F at the end.
Trough.
Yeah.
Or open box in a stable designed to hold courses of food for cattle, horses, or sheep.
Right, yeah. And coarse food is something like this. What is this?
Straw.
Yeah, straw or hay. And so for sheep or goats, whatever, they have their regular food outside of the stable, but when they spend the night inside, they'll have like snack food for them. It's called like coarse food, like hay. What do you snack on? What's your favorite snack?
Candy.
Candy, yeah. What kind?
M&Ms.
M&Ms, yes. Plain. All right, well, so Jesus is born, and they put him in a manger, which is a trough, and some of them look similar to what this is here, and it's a trough that has this coarse food or this hay, like cattle or horses or sheep. Here, go ahead and hit that, and we'll look at a picture like that. Okay? Can you see how that sort of looks like that? Okay. And what are those on the screen? What are we looking at?
Cows.
Cows, yeah. What do you think their names are? Let's name them. Go ahead and name them. Who's the guy in front?
Jacob.
Jacob, yeah. Okay, who's the guy eating?
Lizzie.
Lizzie, okay. Jacob and Lizzie, and who's in the back?
Eric.
Oh, a cow named Eric. Okay, so Jacob, Lizzie, and Eric. Do you think they're pretty clean, like when they eat?
No.
No, you're right. Like, do you have a dog?
No.
No. If you had a dog, do you think that, like, if your mom, let's say she put your food in a dog dish, how do you think you'd feel about that?
I think it'd be gross.
It'd be gross because, like, dogs and cows, like, what are their names again? Like, Eric's in the back, Lizzie's eating, and Jacob. They're kind of messy when they eat, and they slobber, and so probably this manger is really messy and gross. You wouldn't want to eat out of that,
No.
and you wouldn't want to put a little baby in that either because it's messy and it's gross, right?
Right.
Okay, hit that. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead and hit that. Where were you born?
Zealand Community Hospital.
Because you can see the next. You were born in a hospital in a town called Zealand. In fact, I'm going to cover up the next one. Go ahead and hit that. That's where you're born, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when your parents decided to have you and you were born, they didn't like put you in a place with animals like, what are their names again?
Jacob, Lizzie, and Eric.
Yeah, like they weren't all in there and like other animals and all of that, because animals can be gross and they slobber sometimes. I mean, they're nice and everything, but sometimes they smell, right? And so they didn't put you in there. They put you in a nice hospital room, and it was in Zealand Community, and they had all the finest things to help take care of you. Hit the next one. Who is that?
Me.
It's you, yeah. So they put you not in a manger, but they put you in that nice little, it's probably called a cradle. Look at you. You're all wrapped up, and you have a blanket on you, and there's nice padding underneath, and there's, what are those animals' names again?
Eric, Jacob, and Lizzie.
They weren't there, were they?
Nope.
No. And there wasn't, like, you weren't laying on this coarse stuff called hay.
Nope.
No, you were in that. Wow, do you remember that? You remember that? Or no?
No.
No, you don't. But your parents were really nice, weren't they, when they put you in that. So here is my question. Go ahead and hit that again. Here's my question. Why a manger? Because we have already said that God is a good planner, right? Like if God was going to make chocolate ice cream with M&Ms on top, plain, he could plan that out really well, right?
Right.
Like he'd get the syrup and the ice and the M&Ms, and he put the M&Ms last like you do, right? Because he's a good planner. And when he made this world, he's such a good planner. And so when he has Jesus born, it's not like he'd messed up and, oh man, there's nobody for me to have, for Jesus to be born. He planned all of that out, and there was not anyone that could have him be born in a nice room or anything like that. And instead, he's born with, what are those guys' names again, those animals?
Eric, Jacob, and Lizzie.
And Lizzie, man, you probably wish I'd remember that, wouldn't you? Yeah. So he has them born in a place like that with those animals and other animals, and it's slobbery and it's stinky, and it's amazing. And you were born in Zealand Community in a hospital. So the question is, why would Jesus be born in a manger? You've had two little like babies in your house, right? Before, yeah. Can you show me like how you would hold that baby? Just pick him up. You don't really have a lot of room here, do you? Well, yeah. Oh, There we go. Let me see. Very nice. Can you sit down? That's so hard, isn't it? Oh, there you go. Look at you. Look how you're supporting the head and yeah, so nice. Now, you wouldn't be scared of this baby, would you?
Nope.
No, you weren't scared of your little baby. Now you treat them with love and respect and very tender, right?
Right.
And look how you're holding. You've been. Oh, that is so. I would, if I had a baby, I'd let you hold my baby because you're doing so well. Very good. Here's what, and you're not going to be able to do this. So here's a big word. This is why I think that Jesus was born in a manger instead of a hospital room, instead of even a guest room. See, a manger, by the way, nobody was born and placed in a manger in those days. That was like even the poorest people who were called peasants, they weren't even born like this. This is lower than even a peasant would be born, because they would at least have a room, but Jesus is like all the way. By the way, would you ask the people here if any of them have been, like, how many of them were born in a hospital? How many of you were born in a hospital? Ask them.
How many of you were born in
Oh.
a hospital?
Oh, I'm sorry.
How many of you were born in a hospital?
Look at that, almost everybody. Say, were any of you born in a house?
Weren't you born in a house?
Were any of you born in a house?
Were any of you born in a house?
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, couple. Now, ask, were any of you born in a stable?
Were any of you born in a stable?
Sandra? No. Okay, all right. Just checking. And so none of them were in a manger. So, okay, here's the thing. I believe that God, who sometimes people can think is big and scary, like a big superhero, I think people could be scared of God. So God decides that he will become a little baby because you're not scared of a baby. And there were shepherds out there who also would have never had the opportunity to see God like this. They had never been invited to a nice place if he had been born in a palace. And they would have been so frightened because they're just shepherds, but even they weren't scared of a baby. Would you read this? This has got a big word in it.
A manger is
approachable, which means that you're not scared of me. You came right up to me today. You find me approachable. You find me someone that you're not scared of.
Right.
Yeah, and you just come right up and you're not scared of this baby. And so God, this is his way of saying, I am approachable. You can come and love me, respect me, honor me, be gentle, but let's have a relationship. You don't have to be scared. So one of the things, Eric, that Jesus always wants you to know is that you don't have to be scared of him, just like you weren't scared of this little baby. He's approachable. Let me talk to you want to put, so nothing happens to Jesus? I mean, it's pretend Jesus, but, okay. There we go. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. There you go. Good job. Okay, now, as adults, though, we do a couple of things when it comes to God. And one is that we think that we have to be good enough for God to love us or for God to accept us. And so we think of all the things that we're not doing right in our life and all the sins and all the dirt and the grime. And so we think that we could never approach God or he would never approach us. One of the things about Jesus being born as a manger is that was the most disgusting place that God could choose to make contact with the world. And what he was saying is, I can't get any lower experiences than the stable. You think your life is so disgusting that you can't come into my presence? It's not the case. In fact, in that day, the teachers of the law, the Pharisees, they would have never went in a stable because they believed that the filth and the grime would touch their hands, and it would be unholy. And they didn't even shake hands with people that they thought were really sinful people. So what does God do? He decides he's going to be born in the most disgusting, grimy place possible, lower than any of you have ever been born. You just said it. So that you would know always and forever that God is an approachable God, regardless of what's going on in your life. And the second thing that we do is somehow we think that we have to earn it, or we have to suddenly make our life good before God will ever pay attention to us. I hear this so many times where people say, I could never go to church because I've got this going on, and I've got to sort of get good enough before I can even go to church. It's like if Jesus were here today and he went over to your house, if he said out there in the lobby, I'm going over to your house today, you would panic perhaps because you would say something like, I've got dishes in the sink. Or I've got to, my lawn, of course we wouldn't worry about your lawn today, but I didn't shovel or whatever. Because we have this thing that we think that we have to be good enough first before God will even enter into a love relationship with us. And God says to that, listen, I was born in a stable, and you're worried about dishes? I was born in a stable, and you're worried about, because you haven't read your Bible enough, that God won't listen to you. I was born in a stable, and you're no. I'm approachable. Jesus, the Savior of the world, comes whispering into your life, saying, just listen, reach out, hold me. I'll hold you. I am not